If an indiscriminate nuclear war were to break out globally, how would the surviving humans manage to live in the post-apocalyptic wasteland? In modern civilized society, where resources are abundant, our biggest worries are things like not being able to get up in the morning, feeling sleepy at noon, getting drowsy in the afternoon, and feeling hungry before bed. But in a post-apocalyptic wasteland with resources scarce, our living conditions would go from occasionally skipping a meal to regularly skipping meals, or even going hungry for 3 days out of 9, and getting beaten up for no reason might become the norm. So, with the physical condition of today's college students, and office workers less active than a mad dog, weaker than a chicken, it's likely we wouldn't be able to survive. At that time, with civilization collapsed, the surviving humans might become extremely savage in their struggle for limited resources. To ensure your own safety, you'll either need to be able to fight or to run fast. Being able to escape quickly would count as a survival advantage. Just imagine, you and your friend encounter a hungry tiger in the ruins of the apocalypse. Whether you can run fast enough will determine if you survive. It's not that you have to outrun the tiger, but at the very least, you need to outrun your friend. As the saying goes, better him than me. In addition, the ability to obtain food in the post-apocalyptic wasteland is also a matter of life and death. To put it simply, it's about hunting skills. We can't take on large animals like lions or tigers, but catching small animals like rabbits or pheasants shouldn't be a problem. In civilized society, we all like small animals, but in a post-apocalyptic wasteland, we'll like them even more, just in a different way. In modern society, because of high human demand, there are a huge number of chickens, about 25 billion worldwide. So, in the era of the post-apocalyptic wasteland, chickens, being plentiful and weak, would become the best source of protein. So if you're someone who doesn't even dare to kill a chicken during the new year, it's best to practice now. It might come in handy in the future. In a previous episode, we talked about how, in a post-apocalyptic wasteland, liberal arts majors don't have any practical survival skills and could only be considered as emergency rations. Many people in the comments thought that was an exaggeration, but in reality, it's not exaggerated at all. If society's laws and moral standards really collapse, liberal arts majors might be even less useful than art students. At least art students can perform for the team, sing, dance, rap, or something like that. But if a liberal arts major doesn't have a useful skill, aren't they just a lump of mobile emergency food? Liberal arts. Don't get discouraged. If you survive the apocalypse, during rebuilding, liberal arts majors shine. Skills like organizing, persuasive communication, and convincing others, like saying, anyone who betrays me, I'll give them $1 million. So those who stay loyal will be worth several hundred million. And after civilization is rebuilt, there will inevitably be a need to develop things like the economy and culture. You really can't do these jobs without the involvement of liberal arts folks. So when it comes to surviving the apocalypse, the most important thing is whether your professional skills are useful or not. Among all professions, doctors will definitely be the most in demand. Without a modern medical system, if you eat something unclean, it'll really test your luck. If you're lucky, you'll just get sick. But if not, you might not make it. Having a doctor in your group makes things much better. Even if they only know a bit about postnatal care for SOS, that still counts as a technical talent. In addition, civil engineers will be in high demand too. They can build houses and set traps, and since they've spent years working on construction sites, they're physically strong. Even in a post-apocalyptic wasteland, they can work in shifts, working during the day and exploring at night, which is practical. At this point, some people might say, wrong, Zhao, if that's the case, does that mean us miserable office workers who only know how to make PowerPoint presentations society's leftover shave no value in the apocalypse? No. In reality, us office workers have better survival skills than the bosses. In civilized society, the boss is out there hugging and kissing while you're stuck at your desk working. But once the apocalypse comes and everything is reset, everyone starts from the same line. Who's going to recognize you as the boss then? As the saying goes, if fate is decided, we're all just beasts of burden. But if fate is undecided, any of us could be a dark horse. Besides having a reliable skill, you also need to stockpile essential survival supplies. Apart from clean food, water, and medicine, in my opinion, the most important thing to stock up on is strong liquor. It can be used for disinfection, as fuel, or even made into Molotov cocktails as weapons. If necessary, drinking, it can also give you courage. That's why, in movies, both the pirates and female pirates in the Caribbean love to drink rum on their enclosed ships. Besides that, items like cigarettes, beer, and cola foods that can help restore your sanity are also very important. In a post-apocalyptic wasteland, if you're a lone wolf and lack entertainment, even if you have enough to eat and drink, you'll still feel lonely and miserable, and the days will be hard to get through. Just a month could feel as long as 30 years. But if you can have a smoke well, that's a rare treat. And if you also have cola and beer to keep you company, then even if you have to hole up alone in an underground shelter for 2.5 years, it wouldn't be a problem. However, just having supplies isn't enough if you don't have weapons. In a post-apocalyptic wasteland, we shouldn't intend to harm others, but we must always be on guard. At that time, you'd be better off believing that Daorong isn't handsome than trusting a stranger's kindness towards you. Without weapons for self-defense, no matter how many supplies you have, they're useless. In the eyes of others, you're just an easy target for experience points. If someone tries to rob you, all you can do is get angry, but you won't dare to fight back. As the saying goes, an innocent man gets into trouble because of his wealth. But if you're a maximist armed with powerful weapons, then the situation could be completely reversed, right? Imagine if someone accuses you of taking their supplies, you could swear on your pump-action shotgun that it definitely wasn't you who took them. If you're innocent, you have nothing to fear, just be careful. Or I might sue you for slander. In the end, when it comes to surviving the apocalypse, you'll need fire at all times. Fire isn't just for cooking food, it can also drive away wild animals and keep your shelter safe. So it's absolutely necessary to stock up on fire, starting tools like matches and lighters. If nothing else, hoarding lighters is definitely a lot more reliable than hoarding pagers 30 years ago. Well, in that case, enough talk, I'm off to stock up on lighters.